National Women's Bowling Association presents the AMF Rocket City Challenge. Hello everyone and welcome to Huntsville, Alabama. I'm afraid that El Nino is thwarting all of the efforts of the PWBA to try to be warm through this winter swing. Last week in Lubbock, Texas, it snowed. Tonight here in Huntsville, Alabama, it's in the 30s. But we don't care because we're generating our own kind of heat. And one of the hottest bowlers on this young winter circuit is once again back on top of things. And here to talk about that is veteran broadcaster and top-notch bowler, I might add, Jan Schmidt. Of course, the top bowler I'm talking about is none other than Carol Gianotti Block.
Well, Leandra, El Nino may be cooling off a lot of things, but it's definitely not cooling off Carol Gianotti Block. 2 weeks in a row as top seed. Those of us that bowl know how tough it is to be top seed. 1 week, but 2 weeks in a row just doesn't happen that often.
All right, she's not the only hot bowler on this circuit. After 42 games of match play, here's how our stepladder finals stack up. We'll open with number 5 qualifier Kendra Cameron taking on number 4 Liz Johnson. Our second match will have the winner of the Cameron Johnson match going up against Kim Adler. The semifinal will pit that winner against Anne-Marie Duggan. And of course, the championship game will once again feature Carol Gianotti Block of Perth, Australia. But before Carol Gianotti Block can take to the lanes, she must first witness some of the very talented young folks on the PWBA Tour.
Leandra, you're right. There is a lot of young talent out here on tour. In fact, in the last 10 years, only 3 have won in their first year out, but that was 3 of the last 4 years. Before that, it was virtually unheard of. But now we've seen the likes of Tammy Turner, Liz Johnson, and Lisa Bishop. And right now, I'm with the newest rookie talent, although not considered a rookie because of the number of events you've bowled. This is your first pro telecast. How are the nerves for you today?
They're actually pretty calm. I think I'm a little more anxious than nervous right now, so we'll see if we can keep the nerves aside tonight.
Well, what do you expect out of yourself for this year, given all the influx of great rookies coming out?
My goal is to win just about every event I bowl in, so we'll see how it goes tonight. I bowl my best. If it happens, it happens. If not, there's next week.
Well, good luck to you, Kendra. They're ready to start the match. Back to you, Leandra.
Fighting bowling action is about to get underway. Liz Johnson, Kendra Cameron going head-to-head. Liz Johnson has opted to go first. She is wearing the red. Liz Johnson is 23 years old from Niagara Falls, New York. She has 5 professional titles to her credit. This is her 3rd year on the tour, so she is one of the youngsters we were talking about. 1996, her first year, she won 2 events. She was also the Rookie of the Year back in '96. Her second year, she won 3 events. Between Kendra Cameron and Liz Johnson to open with a strike. Now Kendra Cameron has put the interview out of her mind, and our Jan Schmidt has made it back to the booth, and she steps up and knows she has to answer a strike.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how she handles it. She has a lot of TV experience in amateur competitions, a lot of confidence. This is a different level.
Well, she answered that one quite succinctly. 24 years old from Danvers, Maryland. She bowled, what, 4 or 5, no, I guess 6 or 7 events, and you have to be under 4 events to qualify as a rookie?
Exactly. If you've bowled 4 or more national events prior to coming out as a member on tour, you do not qualify for rookie status.
So things are dead even here as we begin our AMF Rocket City Challenge. Both ladies opening with a strike. We are bowling on pairs 7 and 8. These were a pair of high-scoring lanes as she leaves one standing.
Leading at 10 pin. Right now she's just trying to get comfortable. She looks pretty good. She's playing deeper in, a little bit deeper than she did earlier in the week. Sending the ball out, though, to about the 5th board, driving very hard. I was watching her in practice. The ball seems to be hooking quite a bit. That's the condition we bowled on for the last couple of weeks.
And she converts that to a spare. Her average on this pair of lanes is 221 from the 42 games she played. Here on lanes 7 and 8 as we take a look at Liz Johnson, whose average was 206 on this pair. And her average for the total week, 224, and that's across the board here at the Pin Palace.
Average is pretty high this week. 223, I believe, to make the show. That's a pretty big average. 2 weeks in a row now.
Both ladies having trouble in the second frame.
And a 4-pin. They're right around the pocket, though. And again, scores have been really high. This one of the higher scoring pairs, a little bit More conditioner on this pair of lanes, seem to play a little bit tighter, a little more hold, so it still should be fine. Liz Johnson takes a fine approach, but watch how she drifts. And she's going to cross over, go a little bit left right here. So she's walking to the left, then she slides back to the right. Real straight arm swing, though. Projects the ball pretty straight down the lane. Her type of footwork, where she goes left and then right, you normally see in more of a cranker style, more of a person that opens up the lane like a Leanne Barrett. You don't normally see it in a player that goes pretty straight like Liz Johnson. However, it works for her. And very, very well. She's one of those new rookies we talked about.
And she clears the deck here in the third frame as Kendra Cameron steps back up. She calls herself a homebody on the road, doesn't like to go out that much, just stays in her hotel room or in her motorhome and just lays low.
220 average on this pair. Now watch how watch her hand position here. See that index finger? It's off the ball. Now watch how she pushes off. She drops it onto the ball. That's an unusual. And I don't know what it does for her. She just likes to feel like all of a sudden she feels the weight on that finger. Much better start with it on the ball.
Well, whatever it does, it does something very, very good for her as she knocks down her second strike in 3 frames.
Here's a look at her from the side. It's kind of a 4.5 step approach. She slid that first step, but now a nice, even, fluid arm swing. She has a very classic game, deep knee bend. She stays out of trouble. She's a very consistent player. If she gets out here and starts to learn equipment, learn conditions, she definitely will do well.
Well, this has been a sing-song match going back and forth from an advantage of being up 20. Kendra Cameron is now minus 12 as we take a look at the 8th frame that's stepping up here. It's been a little bit of a struggle on the 7th lane. Lane 8, there seems to be more success. Things are hooking a little bit on lane 7.
She gave up trouble while we were gone. She split in that 6th frame, 4-6. Liz also went high on that lane. You know, I spoke to Liz right before we started the match, and I said, how are the lanes for you? She said they're pretty similar, but she said I have to keep my speed up, which was the case all week. You called it there. It was a little bit soft with that, a little slow with the speed. The ball's going to jump the nose.
Oh, and a tough miss for Liz Johnson, but we'd like to remind you that the AMF Rocket City Challenge is being brought to you by AMF Bowling Worldwide, the largest owner and operator of bowling centers in the world and one of the leading makers of bowling products. AMF always means fun.
A little bit more speed with that shot.
There we go. Looks like I spoke too soon on lane 7. You said everybody was leaving some things high. We saw some splits, but everyone seems to have made the correct adjustments. We've seen a couple of strikes now.
And I think that's going to be the case for all the players tonight. Ball speed's going to be very critical.
Working on 2 strikes. Like it went a little high.
She almost tripped that from both sides, one pin then the other. Ball coming in high. There's the head pin going to the left. 3 pin going to the right, coming back, almost tripping out the 6.
But, oh, it jostled it. But they don't score jostles. This time she makes a spare, only has the 1 open frame, and that was back in the 6th. She moves over to 7.
Right, and Kendra Cameron now, they're through 9 frames. She leads by 21 pins.
ending things up already. Kendra Cameron has
195 in the ninth, right? And the
6 strikes and 195.
Well, the best Liz Johnson could shoot at this time would be 214. So if Kendra Cameron fills a spare here, she will have 215. So she needs to get all, 9 spare, 8 spare, whatever she does, fill all-time pins on these 2 balls, and she would be a winner.
It doesn't get much closer than that. Kendra likes to keep things interesting, and she's doing just that. She needs to convert here. And she does. So now the pressure is on Liz Johnson.
That basically wraps it up. That's a 215 for Kendra Cameron. Best Liz Johnson can shoot is 214 right now.
That closes the door.
Yeah, we had a little discrepancy on the scoreboard on the screen. If you saw it, there was a 10-pin error there. The best Liz can do is 214. You're in the booth here.
Keep us all straight. So Kendra Cameron will survive and move on to the next round. Her opponent will be Kim Adler from Las Vegas, Nevada. Don't go away. Welcome back. We are ready for our second match. Kendra Cameron surviving with a victory of 215 to 182 over Liz Johnson. She now faces Kim Adler. Kendra Cameron is bowling first. There you see the numbers in the opening match, and Cameron got rattled but settled herself and came back.
Sure did. 215, 182. She's bowling first it was Kim Adler's choice. She's making Kendra start. Kendra will finish. Pressure will be on Kendra. Tough break there. That was a great shot. Solid 7-pin. It kind of moved but didn't fall over. You're going to see it actually coming up a hair high, but normally this would carry head pin off the wall. Look at that 7-pin.
Oh, jostled it twice and still no drop.
I think it almost stopped it from going down the second time.
An easy conversion for Kendra Cameron as Kim Adler, 30 years old from Las Vegas, Nevada, steps up. It's her 8th year as a professional. She has 8 pro titles to her credit.
And Kim's really looking for a big year this year, Leandra. We talked to her last night, and she's worked real hard. She feels this is the best she's ever felt coming out at the beginning of the year. She's really looking toward Bowler of the Year. Very early goals in the year for her.
A very dedicated athlete. How dedicated of an athlete she is? Well, we asked her, what else does she do besides bowling to stay in shape for this sport? You'd be amazed at the training she does.
Well, the last 2 months I've been working out on a regular basis. We've been mountain biking in Las Vegas as well as rock climbing and doing as much outside as we can, as well as a little bit of practice 3 or 4 times a week. And I think with all the weight training and the cardio with the running, I'm doing about 4 miles a day. It's really helped my leg strength and overall strength and becoming more fresh when I get out here for the first time this year.
Now, I asked her what kind of training does she do actually on the day of competition as she leaves number 10 standing. She said today she ran 3 miles and did a lightweight training circuit, covering all body parts. But she lifts for 2 hours a day and runs 4 to 5 miles, plus the mountain biking and the rock climbing and the other things. So she has really become a fitness buff.
And we asked her what she did, on the road, how she stayed in shape. She said they find health clubs. Otherwise, she carries her free weights, bikes, steer stepper, and a slider, and does all of that.
Well, she looks great. And she's bowling great, too. She converts on lane number 7 to open with a strike and a spare.
Let's get back to the rookie type of thing and these players just coming out. As you see, 279, 163, not a bad low game. Kendra came out, and in talking to her last night, she has so much confidence. It's something different, something we didn't used to see with the new players coming out. They were intimidated by the pros. There's no intimidation here. This lady has had a lot of experience, a lot of coaching. She also is immediately on a staff. She's on Storm's staff. She has help with equipment, in learning the equipment, learning to read lanes and things like that. So the players coming out nowadays are so much better trained than there used to be.
She converts. You mentioned the rookies that have done so well. Here's a look back in time.
See Lisa Bishop last year, our Rookie of the Year. Liz Johnson, who you saw in the first match, 2 titles in her first year out.
Krista Stewart, Tammy Turner, we saw her last week on the television finals.
Kim Adler bowling right now, but you see all of these players, no titles. As we go back 10 years, only in the last 4 years did we see the players winning. And again, that was in their first year out.
Right.
They've had, of course, titles since that time. But first year out is usually such a tough experience. And a lot of us veteran players find it hard to imagine how these players can come out now and just be so confident and so well trained and ready for tour life without the couple of years of adjustments that it took all the rest of us to do.
Well, I did have to chuckle that her preparation was just last week. Lubbock, Texas, she said, I kind of got used to the flow of things, and I figured out when this happens and how that happens and how long it takes to do this. And because of that, she said she only finished 13th.
Yeah.
Well, and here she is, you know,
Yeah.
in the top 5. All right, now we're looking at Kim Adler.
And Kim on this telecast, but you know, out of those 10 players we saw, 4 of them have been on the telecast in the last 2 weeks, so they're continuing to do well.
And she knocks him down as we look at Tom Adler. That's Kim Adler's husband and training partner, I might add.
She's in about inside of 10, inside the second arrow. Coming high, watch it trip the 4-pin. Yeah. She's tripping it too. Get out of there.
Now, Kim Adler also wanted to give credit to Ron Hoppe. She said he gave her some great advice very recently, and she wants to work on it. Didn't really have enough time, but it did help her, you know, generate some more power. But she's very excited about incorporating some of his tips into her game, and she thinks it's only going to bring her up.
She also did a little bit of work with Pete Kutcher, who used to be her coach and still is, but she's going out and seeking other advice from a lot of players and or a lot of coaches, a lot of players. That's one of the things that Kim does in everything, in her training and everything, trying to get a lot of input from a lot of different people.
She also said she's only traveling with 6 to 8 balls. She used to have 15. She's trimmed it down, lightened it up, focusing more on her shot instead of the right ball for the shot. Kind of interesting. Lightning blows in more ways than one. We'll be back with more from Kim Adler against Kendra Cameron as our second match continues at the AMF Rocket City Challenge. Welcome back. Things got pretty ugly for Kim Adler. She went from being +4 to being -17 at one point in this match against Kendra Cameron.
But she's back to just -7. Kendra up by 7. Kim threw a double in there. Couple good shots. Kendra had a 3-bagger. Now leaving a solid 9. Just left an 8-pin on the last shot. Kendra did. However, it was a weak 8. She was fortunate not to leave the 8-10. So it is back to a close match right now. This a good shot, trying to get the ball to finish a little stronger, and it does. Too strong. Nothing takes out the 9-pin. Ball doesn't deflect.
But she took it out there. And now it is a +6 situation for Kendra Cameron. Again, she was a number 5 seeded player against Kim Adler, who's number 3. Kim Adler actually gritting her teeth and really focusing. You can see she is concentrating and making some important decisions about what she's going to do with her next shot.
She is, and I would imagine that Kim could be a little intimidating to Kendra, although she seems to be doing it very well.
Kendra didn't notice. Intimidation, what does that mean?
Okay, Kim Adler really needs to set up a strike here. She trails by 6 pins going into the 9th. Kendra already has a strike up in the 9th frame. So it's very important for Kim to strike here.
A very, very close match. 1993, one of my last telecasts on the Professional Women's Bowling Association Tour was from Louisiana. Kim won from the number 3 position. There's her husband. He ain't smiling. He knows it's a toughie, as Kendra Cameron has her own focus right here. There you see the score. We're in the 10th frame now. Both ladies working on a strike.
And this is the 9th frame shot by Kim Adler. Oh, watch the 7-pin. I wasn't sure it was going. Look at that. Headpin takes it off the wall. Oh,
Relief.
Yeah, she needed that. She cannot shut out Kendra Cameron. She can strike out to force Kendra to strike out, but she can't shut her out here. is the same shot we just saw in the 9th. The head pin took the 7 out. This time, it didn't. One of the worst breaks you can get. Solid 7. That's what happens nowadays with the bowling balls, the new equipment that just drives so hard through the pocket that pins deflect differently than they used to. There's a lot of thought, a lot of talk on different parts of bowling that maybe we do want heavier bowling pins now to combat the strength of these bowling balls. That really hurt. She made the shot. That was all she could do. She's going to try to get all the pins she can here, and Kendra's going to need to just step up and get a mark. .208's the best she can do, but she needs a strike to get that. To the pins, like, sure, now you carry it. That is so frustrating when you made the best shot you can possibly make and they don't fall. Kendra Cameron's going to need to mark here and just get some reasonable count, like 5 pins after a mark. It ain't over yet. That ball came in pretty hard. She can be thanking her lucky stars right now that there's not a split standing up there.
That's the real luck here.
Changing balls. She's going to go to a spare ball, plastic ball that'll go straighter.
She does it. Now she's 5 pins away from the win. Kim Adler winds up 4th. You saw the dollars and cents of this.
I'll tell you, nothing's rattling this lady, Leandra. She's having no problem out there. She definitely is ready for professional bowling.
As we move up the step ladder, it's Cameron against Duggan in a moment. The AMF Rocket City Challenge is being brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood aged for a crisp, clean, classic taste. And by MasterCard. There are some things in life money can't buy. For everything else, there is MasterCard. So, Strike 10's coverage of the PWBA Tour continues with match number 3 here in Huntsville, Alabama. Kendra Cameron going up first against Anne-Marie Duggan. Now, she defeated Kim Adler in match number 2, 214 to 208. Remember, she opened with a 215, so she's very consistent on this pair, Jan Schmidt.
She is. However, Anne-Marie Duggan pulled great on this pair all week long, averaging 257 on this pair.
Ouch, 257. Ouch. But Cameron opens with a strike, and
tonight's another night, so who knows? Anne-Marie chose to have Kendra start once again. Pressure will be on Kendra at the end, and Anne-Marie may like lane 7 better, wanting to finish on that lane.
You saw on the screen 16 years as a pro, 14 career titles. Her lone title in 1997 came in Goose Creek, South Carolina. There you see the average for the week, pretty lofty, 230.
You might be wondering why these ladies are wearing the same clothing. No, it's not uniforms, but they are on the same staff. They're both on Storm staff and Turbo 2-in-1 grips.
Opens with the pair.
She looks great. She looks really good, very strong, and very confident.
She looked almost anxious to bowl. She's glad that you got to get those 2 frames in, and says, yes, I've been waiting for this. And I think that's always the hard part of the step ladder situation. You have to wait, you have to wait, you have to wait. But Kendra hasn't been waiting. She's been bowling. This is her 3rd game. And she's in trouble.
She did not get that ball out on the lane. She set it very short, almost at the foul line. Normally projects it farther out on the lane. We'll get to see it. Look at that. Down very early. She's a smooth release and sets the ball sort of early, but usually gets it well out on the lane past that point.
6 and 10 looking to get knocked down here, and they do as she converts the second frame into a spare.
Anytime you set a ball early on the lane like that, it makes it go into a roll earlier and start to hook earlier. That's why she ended up on the nose. Trails by 10 pins right now to Anne-Marie Duggan.
So she settles herself down. Strike, spare strike for Kendra Cameron.
Better projection on that ball.
As we look at Anne-Marie Duggan, we'd like to remind you that should she bowl a strike and continue right on through and get a 300 game, $50,000 will be given to her from MasterCard. What a generous offer that is, and she's keeping those hopes alive. What a lovely, lovely payday that would be.
Pat Duggan, Anne-Marie's husband, out here with her. Also, he's a rep for Storm, so he's been out here laying out bowling balls and helping drill equipment.
And that tells the story. 12 times in her career as she bowled a 300 game. And I'd like to add that earlier this week on this pair, somebody bowled a 299. So this is a hot duet.
That would have been Brenda Norman leading at second on her final shot. Anne-Marie has great ball speed tonight.
4 in a row, and Cameron's got to try very hard not to get wrecked.
Well, Kendra, as we talked about all of her experience at 14 and 10 in match play, she has 3 years on Team USA. She has a gold medal at FIQ, won some walkout events. No stranger to pressure.
And I should add, even though she's out of the running for that, 4 times she has bowled 300 games, so she's used to some high marks in her day. John Gaines, the national amateur champion and a member of Team USA, has been guiding her career somewhat. She said he has a great eye. He sees these small details in her delivery. He's also a great partner, an enthusiastic motivator, and she loves working with him. There we go.
And that is important. Another set of eyes. I'll tell you what, Leander, it seems to be a subject we talk about a lot, and there's the 300 games from this week. Tammy Eisworth, Wendy McPherson, Lisa Wagner. It is important at this level. All of the players have the ability. They can execute shots, but another set of eyes to tell you where to move, or give you an idea what's happening in other pairs. Leaving the 9 pin. It's just become so important to have someone like that. Someone to help you out, just give you some ideas, even someone you can just bounce an idea off of. It really helps.
All right, what went wrong here that number 9 still standing?
No, the ball's just driving hard. It's been high, a little bit high, driving hard every time on lane 8, but she's carried. This time the ball did not deflect at all. Still cool. May have had a hair less speed on that shot. 4 strikes and a spare for Anne-Marie Duggan as we complete 5 here at the AMF Rocket City Challenge. And it's a match now. Anne-Marie up by just 9 pins. Marie did a lot of work over the break, a lot of practicing, and a lot of Nordic track work. She loves to do that, working out on the Nordic track, and it's a great form of exercise.
She said as she gets older, she feels her strength. You know, she has to work to keep the strength. She was always muscular and strong and didn't really have to do a whole lot to maintain it. But now, she's, you know, they always say your body takes care of you for the first part of your life, and you've got to take care of your body the second part, and she's a testament to that. Doing a good job of it, too, I might add. Seen that all.
No, and that was a bit unfortunate. This really wasn't quite as high as a 4-7-10 split would normally be. Here's the ball coming in. See, not dead on the nose, no.
Yeah, it didn't look that bad.
It looked real similar to the 9 pin that Anne-Marie just left, however. A little bit of a bad break there.
And picks up 4-7, leaves the 10, and she has an open frame here, something you don't want to do when you're bowling against Anne-Marie.
No, you don't. But, you know, and you might think that this lady would say, hey, you know, it's her second tournament as a pro. She should be, you know, she's happy to be here. But I'll tell you what, no, she wants to win. Right. Her expectations are high. I mean, she wants to do better each week. That's one goal, and that's a great goal. But she did say, hey, I think I can make the show every week. Hey, that's an attitude.
If you don't believe in yourself, who will? She was so cute. She said, my goals are to make a check, that would be the top 32, then make the cut, that would be the top 24, then to make the TV show, that would be the top 5, and then, of course, then to win a championship. So 3 out of 4 so far in this tournament. Anne-Marie Duggan steps up with a 24-pin edge.
Anne-Marie, like, stop that string of goals and being accomplished right now.
She said, yeah, let's just keep it at 3, Miss Cameron.
This is the best I've seen Anne-Marie look in quite some time. She looks really strong.
Her last TV appearance was in the fall of '97.
Rossford, Ohio. She finished 2nd in that event. And she's been making shows, but not to the caliber that we saw her in '94 and '95. '94 Player of the Year, right there. You see it, perfect timing. '95, she was, you know, high average, Linshu high average. So she had two really strong years, but did get a little bit burnt out at that time. She said there's a lot of people pulling at you to do different things and go different directions, and it can really wear and tear on you.
She finished 17th in Lubbock, Texas last week, a perennial money finisher.
Anne-Marie not using a spare ball tonight. The last show we saw her, she had gone to a spare ball. Now trying to flatten it out just like she used to do, using the same ball. Just not uncup her wrist, break her wrist back, and throw it end over end.
Working on a strike in the 7th frame.
There's the finger we're talking about. What? Oh, can't see it there, but she drops the ball right onto that index finger, and then uses that for lifting frame.
You know how many bowlers are going to try that next week when they go out and bowl in their leagues?
You can do a lot with your index finger, but players at home may not realize that. But if you spread your index finger out, it's going to help you get a little more rotation on the ball.
There's a quick tip from Jan Schmidt. 2 strikes for Kendra Cameron. She's down by 23 pins. She bowls her first ball in the 9th.
She can take it down to 13 with the strike here.
Yeah, and does.
Okay.
We got ourselves a bowling match.
Watch this delivery. Very smooth. Sets the ball down out to about 7. Beautiful. She wants it.
Come on. Yes. Duggan in the 9th, working up the spare. Now some off.
And again, seems you just saw a 9-8 from her coming up just a little high, but it seems to be working except for that one shot. Best Kendra can shoot here would be, what, 245. So Anne-Marie will need a strike here, basically, to shut her out.
She has 7 strikes and 2 spares in this game already.
Striking good pin count.
You almost see a sigh of relief from Pat Duggan. He looks more concerned than she does. Furrowed brow.
Well, if she gets 9 right here, she won't have to throw another shot, and she would be the winner. I mean, she will finish the match out, but
she won't walk
would
away.
not need to in order to win the match.
Well, she got the 9.
That's enough.
Leaves a 10-pin standing, but that's a moot point. So waiting in the wings didn't bother Anne-Marie Duggan.
She'll have, even if she didn't pick this up, she'd have 246. The best Kendra Cameron can do is 245.
So she'll do better than that. Remember her average on this lane, these pair of lanes, was 257, and she's pretty darn close to that now.
Finishes up with 247.
Now Kendra Cameron has already bowled a 215 in her opening match, a 214 in her second.
Well, I'd say she's done pretty darn good for herself. Her second tournament out as a pro. She wants to have a long career. This is how she wants to make her living.
Went from 13th last week to 3rd this week. What an improvement.
And she said, we talked to her a little bit earlier, she talked about why she came out this year and turned pro, and she said things are just looking up so much for the pros with scoring 10 and with the increase in prize fund.
And the new logo.
Yeah, increase in tournaments, new name. She said, hey, it looks like they're here to stay. I want to be out there. I want to take some of that money.
And you can't blame her. It's an exciting time to be a professional athlete for women.
It looks like Anne-Marie Duggan was going to need every bit of that 247 to win this match.
There you see the score, 247 to 245. The Professional Women's Bowling Association is brought to you by Visionary Bowling Products, makers of the high-performance Warlock, Sorcerer, and Amulet. Visit your local pro shop and get custom fitted for a Visionary ball today. Hey, this is it, folks. The Rocket City Challenge winds down the championship game. Anne-Marie Duggan against Carol Gianotti Block. Welcome back to the AMF Rocket City Challenge. I'm Leandra Riley along with Jan Schmidt, and we are down to our championship match here at the Pin Palace. But before we get to our title game, let's talk about some of the ladies who made the top 24 cut. We'll begin with Carolyn Doran Ballard. The North Richland Hills, Texas native would have struck out if she would have. She would have tied Kendra Cameron for 5th, and she'd be on TV right now. Dana Miller-Mackey, she was just short of her second TV appearance. She finished 7th. And Wendy McPherson, she shot a 300 this week. Some outstanding performances here in Huntsville.
Sandra Jo Odom finished up in 11th spot. She's our last year's Queens champion. Michelle Mullen back out on tour, and she's doing stats for us tonight. Thanks, Michelle. Tammy Turner continues her comeback after back surgery.
Kathy Dorn of Linden, New Jersey. She's the younger sister of Carolyn Doran Ballard. She finished in the money, 16 of 21 events last year. She's 2 for 2 this year. And of course, you have to look at number 14 finisher Lisa Bishop. She's the Ebonite Rookie of the Year.
Robin Masanti of Newhall, California. She's fighting back after arm and wrist surgery, but I'm sure she'll come back strong. Lisa Wagner and Tammy Eisworth both shot 300s this week, and Crystal Scaretti, a charming young lady, making the cut for herself this week.
And you're looking at the picture of Debbie McMullen. She cashed in 17 events last year. She is 2 for 2 this young winter season. But we also have to acknowledge number 22, Brenda Norman. She's the lady who bowled the 299 on the TV pair. And the two ladies that are looking at each other right now very seriously are a couple of women who bowled very successfully on this lane. This is number 1 seed, Carol Gianotti Block. She is 30 years old. This is her 11th year as a pro. She's on the staff of track and country politics, and she opens with a bang.
And she chose to start the match, so she'll finish last. She must prefer lane 8. Good view of Anne-Marie. It's a great starting position. Ooh. Coming up light. Ball just didn't continue to drive again. That's lane 8. That's the one where the ball was driving a little bit too hard, coming up a little high several shots. Looks like she made a move there to come up lighter, and it did, but no carry.
In that 247 to 245 win over Kendra Cameron, she opened with 4 strikes. But that's not the story now against Carol Gianotti Block as she crosses over. Anne-Marie Duggan said she has rededicated herself, and her motto is, there's more money out there and I want it. I like that. 1994 from the number 2 spot. She won the Santa Maria Classic.
And when Anne-Marie gets to dedicating herself and working hard, there's really no stopping.
Except the temper.
That's a good point. She'll spare it up and continue on. A lot of frames left right now. Just, I don't know if it looks like she may have made a little move, trying not to come high. But again, Carol Gianotti Block was able to come on to this pair, 7 and 8. Carol threw 10 shots. It could change the lane condition just a bit. Anne-Marie had to practice on an alternate pair, so she wasn't able to continue the ball and see how the lanes were changing during that break.
And I guess that's the method of equalizing the fact that Carol Gianotti Block has to sit out and wait.
Right.
She qualified first. You see her average 232. This lady can bowl.
258 average on this pair.
258. And Anne-Marie Duggan is 257. And we have ourselves a bowling match here as she leaves 4-7 standing.
This ball jumping the nose, 10 pin out at the last minute. She's out to about the 8th, 7th board there, jumping back hard. It didn't look like it was falling.
I didn't think 10 was going either. And she converts. We've got a 1-pin difference between our number 1 and number 2 players here at the Rocket City Challenge.
Picked up a little debris off the approach there. Carol leads by 1 pin right now.
She clears to death.
Okay.
Strike, spare strike for Gianotti Block.
Looked like it was going high also, but they seem to be carrying. That's what we've been seeing Anne-Marie do. They're playing a similar angle into the pocket.
Working on 2 spares.
Probably 12 match play for Anne-Marie. That's not the highest for the Adler. You think she would have won more matches.
And that's what they're competing for, the paycheck. It's the AMF Rocket City Challenge trophy, which is sitting adjacent to the pair that they're bowling on. Always in their peripheral vision. That's what I want. That's what I want. Give me the hardware.
Where is the check?
In someone's back pocket. 2 strikes for Anne-Marie Duggan as she settles down after opening with a couple of spares.
Well, Carol Gianotti Block continuing her fine performance after last year. You see she defeated Anne-Marie twice in match play with those big scores.
How'd you like to score 257 and lose?
Well, I saw a lot of that this week.
That hurts. If you bowl a 176 and lose, it doesn't bother you as much.
Well, that's true, although it bothered you that you shot the 176. Carol looking great here, sending the ball all the way right to about the first arrow and back. Both players have a real nice line to the pocket. They should carry well. It's going to be a question of who executes.
3 in a row, 4 out of 5 strikes for Carol Gianotti Block. She moves up by 11 pins as Anne-Marie Duggan steps up on lane number 8.
Anne-Marie, we mentioned Pat being out here with her. She's now back to traveling in her motorhome, which she used to do. Has her husband and her dog, Katie. And
that's a peekapoo, that dog. Oh! And that went down by the wag of the tail.
Great camera angle there. 7-pin falling at the last minute.
A peekapoo's a Pekingese poodle combination.
And here you see it about the same point of the lane that her ball is breaking back as Carol. Coming up light with the 7-pin going out.
That's 3 in a row for Anne-Marie Duggan after she opened with the 2 spares.
And Anne-Marie's very happy with her new life out here, her new equipment. She loves her staff. So a lot of things going for her. A little smile. She knows she didn't
that didn't look
catch
right.
That ball very good.
That didn't look right from the beginning.
No, she didn't. It almost looked like she squeezed at it. She didn't get that clean and quick off her hand.
And she converts that spare, working off the 3 strikes. We're going to wrap things up here at the AMF Rocket City Challenge. It's a very close match between Carol Gianotti Block and Anne-Marie Duggan. A 3-pin difference. Don't go away. Welcome back. You are looking at Carol Gianotti Block as she prepares to bowl on lane number 8. She is working on 3 strikes. She has 4 strikes and a spare so far after 5 frames here in the championship match against Anne-Marie Duggan. Looks good to me.
A light mixer, just like you saw Anne-Marie do on that lane. That takes her lead up to 13 pins. You saw just a minute ago she likes the number 1 position. 4 titles from that spot. The last one being Rossford, Ohio, won that event, and who did she beat? Anne-Marie Duggan.
Now, last week, she was the #1 bowler, but Tish Johnson came up and defeated her from the #2 position. Tish Johnson didn't make the 24 cuts, so she has moved on to Jacksonville, Florida, which is where the PWBA will move.
This was a soft 10. Into the oil a little bit. Got it right, but the ball almost hooked out or rolled out. 6-pin just laid down in the channel.
For 4 strikes, it's a spare for Carol Gianotti block, but she still has the 12-pin advantage over Anne-Marie Duggan. Our high game, 278. Our low game, 164. Quite a range. But as we said, on this television pair lane, 7 and 8, our average was 257.
That light hit seems to be the thing on lane 8 right now. Anne-Marie's been working on keeping a strong wrist. Watch her hand. She had gotten in the habit of kind of breaking it back. She's trying to keep it strong throughout. See the little bit of cup in the wrist? That's how she gets the good rotation on the ball, good firm release, and there's the result you get. Blow out the pins.
You know, she said she's trying so hard to keep that wrist cupped. She said sometimes when the lanes get a little dry, as they are wanting to do, as a lot of balls travel down, she tends to break her wrist to try to pitch the ball out there, and that's absolutely the thing she doesn't want to do. So she's really been concentrating on cupping the wrist.
Carol's a player who also does that. She breaks it back, then cups it toward the release.
With a 2-pin edge now, and the door's open.
9-pin, ball driving too hard, not taking out the 9. We've seen it before on the same lane.
Think she's got enough gold around her neck? I just noticed that jewelry.
I was wondering if she was going to buy something if she wins here. Flattens that ball out to shoot the spare, so she doesn't have to worry about it hooking.
So it's now down to 1 pin for Carol Gianotti block over Anne-Marie Duggan as we move over to the 9th frame here in Huntsville, Alabama. Duggan not even watching, just focusing on what she needs to do. It came back and oh dear. Number 7 doesn't go down.
That was a nice shot.
It looked right.
Yeah.
What went
Ball
wrong?
drove in hard. Here it comes in light. Head pin off the wall. The 5-pin should go over normally on a light hit and take it out. Slid across in front of it.
So 7 goes down. It's a spare for Gianotti, and things are all tied up here at the AMF Rocket City Challenge. 9th frame shot for Anne-Marie Duggan. Lane number 8.
This is huge. She can go up by 10 pins if she strikes here because she's working on a double. And that was by the grit of her teeth. I don't know if you could see it. Just as they broke away, her face, her teeth grit so hard on that shot.
The entire
Watch
crowd
it.
leaned to the left with that pin. We were all leaning and click. Watch all the body English here. Yes. See everybody leaned to the left there in the crowd?
Here's the 6-pin off the wall. See how it tapped it? Pin angling. Is it going to get to
Boom,
that
down it
9.5 degree? And
So she needs to strike to shut it out and does not do it. Phew, a reprieve for Carol Gianotti block.
10-pin not wanting to go down.
So we've got 196 in the 8th. Oh my
Shoot
goodness.
236 here, which would mean Carol Gianotti would have to step up and throw 3 strikes to win by 1 pin. If Anne-Marie spares and strikes.
Phase 1 complete. The spare. Okay, Anne-Marie, your mission, should you decide to accept, is to bowl a strike. Put the pressure on Gianotti block. Oh boy. That's why they call them pros. They can handle this pressure. Oh dear.
Okay, well, she still is going to, Carol is still going to need a double in the 10th.
So it's not over for Anne-Marie Duggan.
Carol Gianotti will have to go double 8 count in order to beat Anne-Marie Duggan.
All right, she's got a spare XX8. That doesn't look like it's going to do it. So once again, Carol Gianotti Block sees herself seated number 1 and coming up number 2.
And if you saw Anne-Marie Duggan's face on that, she could not believe it. I don't believe it. I don't know what happened with that shot.
It's the first light shot of the night.
Totally missing the head pin.
And an open frame. 212. Carol Gianotti Block finishes second.
This is her first shot. She needed a strike here. See how she got it in a little bit, didn't get it right to the dry part of the lane early enough. Okay, look at this. She was so focused on getting the ball right, but she didn't get it right early enough. Watch her face.
Oh, and she knew. She knew. She can't believe it. She cannot believe it. Second place for Carol Gianotti Block. First place for this young lady, Anne-Marie Duggan. We'll be back to talk with Anne-Marie Duggan, but first these important messages.
And there's your champion of the AMF Rocket City Challenge, Anne-Marie Duggan. Congratulations. We have Bob Phelps, AMF Cluster Manager, to present a check.
Right. Congratulations, Anne-Marie. On behalf of AMF and AMF Pin Palace Lanes, we'd like to present you this check for $9,000.
And coming on in to present a trophy, we have Mike Richardson, the manager here at Pin Palace Lanes, AMF Pin Palace.
Anne-Marie, great bowling all week. And at this time, I'd like to present you with the Champions Trophy. Congratulations from all the fans and the staff here at AMF Pin Palace.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everybody here at AMF Pin Palace. I want to thank the seniors, the Men's and Women's Bowling Association for the lovely food they provided us. Also, I'd like to thank Bob Phelps and Mike Richardson, along with AMF, Sam's Town. It's just, this is a great tournament. I also need to thank my sponsors, Storm Products, Masters Industry, and Turbo 2-in-1. Thank you very much.
Anne-Marie, we talked about it earlier. I said, is this a comeback year for Anne-Marie Duggan? Tell us what you said.
I said, yeah, it is. I've rededicated myself, and I want some of that money.
And it looks like you jumped off to a good start to get it. Well, did you have a good shot out there tonight?
I really did have a good shot, and you know, I really want to congratulate Carol Gianotti on her great bowling. You know, it's really tough to come out being the #1 seed, especially when somebody has a good shot, they have a game of warm-up. You know, good bowling, Carol.
So what have you done to rededicate yourself? What are you going to do in this year to come?
Well, I've been doing a lot of aerobic workout. I do a Nordic track. Maybe it doesn't look like it, but I do. And I'm getting older, and there's a lot of young, good bowlers out here. And, I mean, you just need to stay on top of your game. There's too many good women out here.
Well, you're still young to me, but how did it feel to bowl against Kendra Cameron? She's a newcomer out here on the same staff as you. How did you feel about that?
You know, I was hoping that I'd get to bowl her because that meant that she did well. And, I mean, Kendra's a great bowler. She's going to do well out here. But I'm glad I beat her because she's pretty tough.
And motorhome life, has that helped you?
I think so, yeah. I have my dog and my dad are with me, and my husband, of course. He works for Storm now, so it's just going to be a great year, I know it.
Well, congratulations, Anne-Marie. Back to you, Leandra.
All right, thank you very much. Congratulations. A 234 to 212 victory. Anne-Marie Duggan defeats #1 seed Carol Gianotti Block and wins the AMF Rocket City Challenge. The Professional Women's Bowling Association Tour moves to Jacksonville, Florida for the Visionary Bowling Products Jacksonville Classic at Jack's Lanes West. Shouldn't be cold in Florida. Anne-Marie Duggan, our champion here in Huntsville, Alabama, with a 234 to 212 win over Carol Gianotti Block. #2 beats #1. For Jan Schmidt, I'm Leandra Riley, reminding you that this has been a presentation of Strike 10 Entertainment. And congratulations to you, Anne-Marie Duggan. $9,000 to buy a lot of gas for that motorhome.